Welcome to RankRhino, where you can learn it all. Today, we'll be taking a look at some of the most mind-blowing examples of the Mandela Effect. This list will feature examples of memories that many people believe are real, but in reality, they're quite far from the truth. Number 10. Berenstain Bears.
You have to divide the numerator by the denominator, okay? Okay.
One of the more well-known examples of the Mandela Effect is the name of the children's book franchise Berenstain Bears. Most people have fond memories of getting this book read to them as a child, and it even went on to have an animated series due to how popular it was. With all this in mind, there's a little confusion when it comes to its name.
Let's move the tables and chairs up against the wall, please.
A ton of people remember the franchise name as Berenstain and not Berenstain, which has provoked a ton of discussion online. People even went as far as checking the records of the Library of Congress for the book, but there they found that the book has always been called Berenstain Bears. As the topic garnered attention, pictures and old memorabilia started popping up in forums with the book written with an E in the name and not an A. Is it real? Is it Photoshop? Who knows? Number 9. Pikachu's tail. All 90s kids and their parents know about Pokemon. The franchise exploded when the anime launched in 1997. Pokemon has millions of dedicated fans all over the world, most of them now being adults. With the show having loyal fans that have followed it for decades, there's been a peculiar case of the Mandela Effect that many of them have experienced. Pikachu's tail color.
Hey there, you gotta calm down! Pikachu! If you keep wrecking the place, there won't be...
Fans swear that the cute yellow Pokemon's tail used to have a black stripe at the end, but there's no such thing in any of the Pokemon content. This has left a ton of the franchise followers scratching their heads, but there's also a reasonable explanation for this Mandela Effect. Many of the old Pikachu Sprite versions had a black shadow detail at the end of the tail, which created the visual illusion of there being a stripe. Number 8. Looney Tunes? No, Tunes.
Philistines.
Many of us grew up watching the popular TV show which starred the likes of Bugs Bunny, Daffy Duck, and Porky Pig. The classic cartoon ran from 1930 until 1969, becoming a highlight of America's golden age of animation. The iconic Bugs Bunny show was introduced in 1960, and the famous line, "That's all, folks," closed every episode. This scene also features the show's name, Looney Tunes.
You two will be safe out here in the cold and rain.
What?
Now, think about how you remember the show's name. Is it Looney Tunes as in cartoons, or tunes as in musical tunes? Most people remember the show being tunes as in cartoon, but that's actually a Mandela Effect. Truth is, the name has always been Looney Tunes. Why? Well, Disney produced some cartoon shorts in the 1920s called Silly Symphonies, and Warner Bros. Used the same naming format for their animated shorts, Looney Tunes and Merry Melodies. Number 7. The Matrix, What Have I Told You?
Or were you looking at the woman in the red dress?
I was...
Look again.
Everyone who's watched The Matrix remembers the famous line, "What have I told you?", which recently became a meme that features a picture of Morpheus, the same line, and a witty commentary. Well, what if I told you that the line isn't just wrong, but that it never existed in the first place? Yep, Morpheus never said the line in the movie.
You're here because you know something. What you know you can't explain.
Most people attribute the false memory of the line to the scene in which Morpheus presents Neo with a red pill and a blue pill. The scene features the lines, "Do you want to know what it is?", followed by Morpheus explaining everything about the Matrix. Most people will die by the claim that the line "What if I told you" is present in the movie, and if you don't believe us, you can go and watch the entire movie. It's a good one, by the way. Number 6. Monopoly Man's monocle.
I just need to collect $200 and I'll be back on my feet.
Good old Monopoly, the most common cause of family feuds and brothers throwing hands. I think it's fairly safe to assume that most of us have played the classic board game, be it with friends or family. Most of us have also seen Monopoly Man. He's on the cover of the thing after all. Now ask yourself the question, is rich Uncle Pennybags wearing a monocle?
Oh, I've lost everything. Where will I go from here?
You probably thought that he was obviously wearing a monocle. It's a part of his whole costume. The hat, the suit, the bag, and the monocle. But no, Uncle Pennybags isn't wearing a monocle on the cover box of Monopoly, and he's never had a monocle in the first place. There's no simple explanation for this Mandela effect, with the most common theory being people confusing him with Planta's mascot Mr. Peanut. Number 5. Born in the USA and the bandana.
So when you do a video, either you illustrate the song, which in my case, I can't do, because it's...
Bruce Springsteen's Born in the USA album is iconic, with its cover being remembered by practically everyone who's ever seen it. It's hard not to remember it, considering it features Springsteen's posterior against the American flag. The image also features a red bandana hanging from his back pocket. Except it's not a bandana.
I could see it all coming back to you.
The cover actually features a red baseball cap hanging from the back pocket of his jeans. So, how come so many people are confused regarding the bandana on the cover if it's such a popular image? No official theory for this one either, but the truth is, at least in our opinion, that it's pretty easy to mistake the baseball cap for a bandana due to the image angle and lighting. Number 4. Hitler's eyes.
Hoffman loved to present his master as a family man, quiet, unassuming.
The Austrian-born dictator and his Nazi Germany are known by basically anyone who's been in history class. We've all learned about the horrors of World War II and Hitler's fantasy of creating a master blonde-haired, blue-eyed race. And most people point out the irony of Hitler having brown eyes yet wanting to clear the world of brown-eyed people. Well, that's actually a Mandela effect.
Visiting Berlin at the invitation of German ex-service organizations are received by Hitler.
According to the Austrian dictator's medical records, he was noted to have blue eyes with a tint of grey. Actually, there are many sources that talk about his blue eyes with a touch of greenish grey. It's likely that people think that he had brown eyes due to the majority of Hitler's videos and photos being in black and white, and thus there being no discernible color. Number 3. Mona Lisa's frown.
The Mona Lisa. Bewitching, seductive, world famous.
Ah, the Mona Lisa, Leonardo da Vinci's legacy, the most famous painting in history, one of the most talked about art pieces ever. With the amount of discourse surrounding this painting, there's also plenty of theories and speculations. One of those theories is regarding the facial expression in the painting, and more specifically that the Mona Lisa isn't smiling.
And nowhere are Leonardo's extraordinary gifts more clearly illustrated.
Many people believe that the Mona Lisa isn't smiling in the painting. Instead, they think that she has a slight frown or that her expression is entirely blank. Truth be told, there's been a lot of discussion on this topic and people can't agree about it to this day. If you Google the painting right now, you'll find her holding a neutral expression with a slight smirk. Or maybe it won't seem like a smirk to you, although it's always been a slight smirk, in my opinion. Number 2. Luke, I am your father.
No, I am your father.
So, every Star Wars fan probably has heard this one, but it's still one of the most popular false memories. The phrase Luke, I am your father comes from the Empire Strikes Back movie in the scene where Darth Vader is fighting Luke and wiping the floor with him. Luke then accuses Vader of killing his father, to which the Sith Lord responds, no, I am your father. Yep, that's right, there is no Luke in the phrase.
Come with me. It is the only way.
It's actually very surprising when you go and rewatch the movie and proceed to realize people have been misquoting the scene for over 40 years. I was absolutely convinced that the line was Luke, I am your father, and so were so many other people. Most of the hardcore Star Wars fans already knew this one and knew what the phrase really was, but for the rest of us, this was a real case of the Mandela effect. Number 1. Nelson Mandela.
It's not only confined to South Africa. The developments that is...
Let's be honest, we can't talk about the Mandela effect without mentioning the man who inspired the term. So, what's the Mandela effect regarding Mandela? Well, people have been adamant that Nelson Mandela died in prison in the 1980s and that there have been clips of his funeral aired on TV. This led to many people being shocked in 2013 when it was announced that he had died.
Never and never again shall it be.
This situation not only led to the term Mandela effect being created, but also a slew of conspiracy theories. One of those theories was that Mandela did die in prison during the 80s and that the government installed an imposter in his place. The man, who was apparently called Gibson Makanda, then became the first democratic president of South Africa. That's all just a conspiracy theory though, and it's still a mystery where everyone got those memories of Mandela dying and how they remember it so vividly. Thank you for watching, guys. What's your favorite example of the Mandela Effect? Let us know in the comments, and don't forget to like the video and subscribe.